Hi, I'm Tom Ritchie. Welcome to Neighborhoods, brought to you by OMAC Mortgages. So have you ever considered building a new home? It can be a daunting process, but we're going to find out how you can eliminate some of those worries right when we return. So building a new home can be a daunting process, just like I mentioned before break. Today with me is John Goodman of Goodman Homes Limited. John, how you doing?
Not too bad. How are you today?
Great. So John was on a previous episode about new development, and we had a couple questions where people wanted us to expand on building a new home. So I thought, why not get you back on?
Perfect.
You didn't really want to, but but we're talking about new homes today,
Yes.
so it's right in your wheelhouse.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so let's go over one more time. How long have you been building?
About 22 years on my own.
Okay, so now obviously you got started in that some way. Were you, young guy
Started
working
in the trades,
Okay.
started drywalling, then to framing, and then started working for another builder. Then it just eventually went on my own.
So you are experienced in a lot of the trades
yes,
then?
yes.
Okay, so you didn't just, hey, one day I'm going to start a
I've done everything
building?
in the house,
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so John, what separates you from the other builders?
Attention to detail. I like to be on the job site all the time. I give every client my cell number. They can get hold of me anytime they want. So.
You're crazy.
Yes, I know.
Well, there's no doubt that when we want to find you, we can find you on a job site for sure. And so one of the questions that I've come across is, how is the planning done? So there's let's say a farmer's field or some land somewhere. Who purchases that land in order to divide it up?
Well, generally it starts by the city has a plan of where their land is for the city, and then of course the farmer wants to sell his land, and we have a group of guys, and we got together and bought a farm.
Okay.
And then the streets are already sort of laid out by the official plan from the city, and we hire an engineer to coordinate that and go from there.
Okay, so now you say the group of guys, you're talking
the builders
group. Okay.
Yes.
And who pays for the streets, the infrastructure, that sort of thing? Is it?
We do.
You do? Okay.
Yes.
So if you don't end up, let's say you get the streets in, and for some reason the housing market plummets, are you stuck with a bunch of land with some
yes,
sewage?
we are. Yes.
You are. And obviously you haven't come across that yet.
No, we've been pretty fortunate.
Right. So we're talking Woodstock and Oxford County right now.
Yes.
What areas are you currently developing in?
We're developing in what we'd call just off of Lansdowne in Devonshire.
Okay.
And we have some future land going up on the 11th line over by Sally Creek.
Right. And who comes? Okay, so we've got the what do they call it? The Indian Reserve area, and then it went to the Bird Sanctuary and Warplain.
Yes.
What are we in now? Are we still in Warplain?
Yes.
We're still in Warplain.
Yes.
Okay. Who comes up with these names?
The city.
The city does.
The city gives us a list of names they'd like to use, and we pick a few and go from there.
Okay, so, and then they determine the names of the
Yes.
streets? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is go through the process a little bit. We're going to join you on site eventually here, but what's the process? I decide I want to build a new home. Where do I start? What do I do?
Best come to have a meeting.
Okay.
I like to find out what kind of house you want, what size of lot you're looking at. We have a variety, and we start working together. Price point, like I say, size of lot, and obviously what type of style of home you want.
Okay, so, but lot sizes these days are pretty standard, aren't they? I mean,
we have quite a difference. We have from, of course, it's all in meters. We have from 12.5 meters right up to 20-meter lots.
Okay, so we might need to put a conversion up on the. I still, I went through the, you study both systems. Meters, quick multiplication.
From about 42 feet to about 55 feet.
And that's wide.
That's wide.
And what would you say is the largest lot available right now?
Oh, we have some pie-shaped lots that are probably 150 feet deep and 20 meters, so maybe 60 feet wide.
Okay, so that's a good size, and obviously there's a premium that goes along with those.
There is.
Okay, and what about walkouts? Are they still available?
There's very few, but we do have a few walkouts in our subdivision, but
Okay.
they're very few and far between.
Okay, so we pick a lot. Now, is this done, like, should I come to a model home first, or?
Generally speaking, you would come to a model home, and we would have a map of the lots.
Okay.
We would start to look at lots, different streets, different locales. Some people want the sun on this side of the house, some people want the sun on that side of the house.
Can you build me a feng shui house?
Yeah, well, sure we could.
I've had clients that say, I want a house that fits with feng shui, and I'm like, quick Google, what's feng shui, right? How do you, okay.
We get lots of different ideas, yes.
Okay, so we go to the model home, we choose a lot, now who comes up with the building plans? Because when you drive down, houses look similar, but they're completely different when you get inside. So who's coming up with your architectural plans?
Generally speaking, I meet with the client and he tells me what he would like, and I have a designer in town that we take the rough copy to, and we start going back and forth to design the house.
Okay, so your houses obviously can be custom houses.
Yes.
I mean, you do have some plans that people can choose from.
Yes, yes.
Do you ever get it where someone just walks in and they go, this is it, this is exactly what I want?
Yes.
You do? Okay,
yes.
so there are still some people that just...
Not too many, but there is.
But that's probably because it's you, and obviously with your builders group, that you guys are building great homes. So,
and some people like the house to be finished. They don't want to go through the process of picking colors and stuff like that.
Well, I've heard there can be nightmares when it comes to building a home, and it's not because of the builder. It's just so many choices. Which windows, what flooring.
It can be daunting. It's a long process, and a lot of decisions to be made by the homeowner. So. Right.
And what about financing? Is there a builder's mortgage still, or how does that work?
Not really. Usually financing is usually pre-approved when they come to me anyways, or the agent like you would have them pre-approved.
Okay.
And we sort of get a price point, and once we have the house plan done, we get an exact price in the house, and then they can go to the bank and get their financing done.
So let's say, and we've talked about this, let's say I find a lot in an area you're not currently developing on, or in. Are you going to build me a house?
Oh, sure.
You will. So you do custom?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So will you take care of, let's say I find a house on a lot. Are you going to, I don't want to do anything. Let's just pretend I don't want to do anything. I find a house on a lot. It's a little house, cheap little house, but the lot's a good size. Are you going to take care of everything for me? You're going to tear it down?
Oh, sure. Yes,
everything. Okay. And you're going to be able to quote me. And so how does this work? You say it's $350. Let's say it's $350 to do this. How close to that number do you have to come? Assuming I haven't made 1,000 changes to the original plan.
I get pretty close.
You do, but you've got a lot of experience.
Within about 2 or 3%, yes.
Right, yes. Okay. So, we're going to go, like I mentioned, on-site. What about building materials? Is there a difference that separates builders when it comes to materials being used?
Well, the standards are set by the government nowadays, so we all have to have a certain standards, but there is different products that one can use, to get to that standard.
Okay, okay. So, we're going to go to break, and when we return, we're going to join John on an actual build site, and we'll see what the process, what it looks like to get a house framed, get the foundation poured. We'll be right back after this. You're watching Neighbourhoods. Hi, I hope you're enjoying this episode of Neighbourhoods, but I do invite you to check out our Facebook page where you can get information on past and future episodes, but not only that, you could win some great prizes from our sponsors like the Woodstock Fitness and Racket Club. Stay tuned right here on Rogers TV. Okay, so here we are on location with John Goodman at Goodman Homes. John, thanks so much for having us out to your building site. So tell us what stage we've gone through the process of what it takes for a new buyer to find their home. They've found their lot, they've chose all that, except for the colors and that sort of thing. Now we're ready, you've dug the ground, and we're good to go. So what are we looking at here?
So over here behind us, we're starting with the foundation. We just started the framing process on the house.
Okay. And so the foundation, how long would the foundation have to be sitting or set?
7 days after it's poured, before we backfill, and then we can start framing.
Okay, so you've got a crew of about 3 on here right now, and it looks good. They're all wearing their hard helmets. I'm sure you're a happy guy. So now, if you don't know, John is very hands-on. He's out at his build sites all the time. If you're buying a home through John, you realize that you're probably one of the most involved I know.
I'm around as much as I can be.
Yeah, and now is it a control thing or is it, what is it?
Both.
Oh yeah, sure. It's a control thing. We know it's a control thing. Anyway, so we've got the foundation in. We've got the walls going up by the looks of it. How long is the process, would you say, John, to get the walls up and roof on?
Probably about 3 weeks to frame before we put the windows in.
Okay, so now you contract out probably to a lot of different people, is that correct? Yes. And I'm sure you have your favorites?
Yes. I have lots of favorites, all local, as much local as possible.
Right, now you're a big fan of local, and I support that as well. So we're looking at this process right now. How far in are we?
They've been framing for about 4 days now.
4 days, okay, so you've been building a long time.
Yes.
What is the difference now between, let me just go to the time frame, okay? So 10 years ago, how long did it take you to build a house?
Well, probably, about the same amount of time. The framing is a little faster now because it's all air-powered tools, whereas before when I started framing, it was all hand-nailed, so.
Okay, so the process has obviously shortened quite a bit. So from picking a lot to moving in, How long are we looking at?
4 months, 3.5 to 4 months.
Okay, so we're going to go up here a little bit and take a look. And what I would like to ask you is, you know, you're building year-round now. Is there a concern with, or do you even pour foundation in the winter anymore?
Oh, we pour foundations all year round. Starting November 1st, which is coming up, they put heat in the concrete. No matter how warm or how cold it is outside, starting November 1st, the concrete is heated, right till April 15th. So the concrete is heated when they pour it. Plus we use straw all the way around the foundations until we backfill.
Okay, and what about, how do you control just the elements? I mean, you're going to get some wet lumber, that sort of thing. How are you taking care? Is that a concern?
No, wet lumber is not a concern. And as soon as it's framed up, we put the shingles on it right away, windows in, and it's closed in 1 day.
Right. So that is something that I've heard before, and people have had concerns saying, oh, you know, I've got wet lumber, it's going to twist, my drywall screws are going to pop, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's not a concern?
No, because lumber twists a lot more in the hot, dry summers than it does in the cool, wet winters.
Oh, so there you go. Just in case you're wondering, John has put that myth to rest. You can build a house in the middle of winter. So let's go up and take a look at what we're doing.
Sure.
Okay, John, so days gone of the 2x4 framing, and you're using some high quality materials here, correct?
Yes, we are. We're using the isoboard exterior sheeting, which gives us a almost 5R rating, an R20 insulation in the walls, so we have an R25 rating on our outside walls.
Okay. So now, we do apologize if you're getting a lot of noise from the background, but John doesn't stop for anything. These houses have to go up. You got someone ready to buy this, right?
This one's already sold.
It's already sold. Yeah. Wow. So I mean, now one thing I would like to point out, and John has mentioned it, is that you don't own this neighborhood.
No.
No. So it's more than you on this in this neighborhood building right now. Who are the other builders here?
Mark Drew Fine Homes, Oxford Builders, Carl Reinfeld with Reinfeld Construction, and Drew Brothers Ventures.
Okay, so all local builders, all great builders.
Yeah, every one of them.
And okay, so right here we're looking at, this is obviously where the garage is going to be. And then what would the layout of this, is this going to be a 2-story house?
It's a bungalow.
This is a bungalow. Okay, so how many square feet are we looking at?
1,500 square feet on this one.
1,500 square feet. Okay, now cathedral ceilings, the works?
This one's got cathedral ceilings and a loft with a bathroom and another bedroom in the loft.
Okay, now I don't know if you're allowed to tell me this, but approximately how much are we going to be looking at by the time this is done?
Over $350. Okay,
over $350. Okay. If you want to send some donations to me so I can purchase a home like this, I'd be more than happy to receive them. No, I'm just kidding. This is going to be a beautiful house, I'm sure. Now, you have one right beside us, John, that has a brick on. Yeah. And what stage would you say, how far away from move-in is this house?
About 3 weeks.
3 more weeks. Yeah. Okay, now we're not talking a lawn too, are we?
No.
Okay,
no,
so
we're almost done for the lawn this year.
Okay, so now that's a good question that I'm just thinking of now is, you know, you're taking possession of a property like this now. You come back in the summer or spring?
In the summertime, yes.
Okay, to lay the sod out, to excavate?
Yes.
Okay, now what about decks and that sort of thing? Are these all additional?
No, we will put, decks are included in my prices, and we will be putting decks on these houses before they move in.
Okay, so perfect. So you can still barbecue in the winter?
Oh, yes.
Right. Okay, so now we're looking at the house that is, you said, about 3 weeks out. Now, you mentioned something that was really interesting, and I didn't know this. Is it a restrictive covenant that these houses have to be brick?
Yes, we have to be brick on the main floor in this subdivision. Brick or stone.
Okay, now why is that though?
Just for appearances of the subdivision. We like to make it look uniform. And someone just can't put a siding front or a less expensive home.
We've seen them, and there's nothing against that. Nope. They, you know, when they're done right, they look beautiful. So now, what type of materials are we looking at here? Is this an actual brick on the bottom surface?
On the bottom, we have stone for the first 3 feet, and then we have a matching brick to go on top.
Okay.
Something that the customer has picked and chosen.
Okay, now brick manufacturing has obviously changed in the last 10, 15 years, a little bit anyways.
Yes, a lot of it is manufactured. The stone is actually a man-made stone, so.
Okay. So that reduces the cost a little bit. Yes. Now, is there any challenges? Obviously, you have a lot of different suppliers out there available to you. Is there challenges involved in trying to price and keep your I guess, builds affordable for you and profitable?
Well, I like to, I have a standard, and I include brick on the main floor, and I send my customers to my brick companies. I use 2, and they can pick bricks, and they'll get the price at the manufacturer or the supplier, what it's going to cost them, difference in stone or other products.
Okay, so I do have a question. Let's take a look here. John, let's say I come to you. We talked about restrictive covenants, and I say, listen, I know you're the builder, but it's my home. I want pink here, and I want fuchsia up here. I mean, is it?
Your choice.
come on, it's not my choice.
Yes, it is. It's your choice.
Well, now what are the neighbors going to think, though?
Well, hopefully you're smart enough not to do that.
There's nothing wrong with fuchsia or pink bricks. Just saying.
I don't think you'd get that color anyways.
Okay. So you've got the foundation in, framing went up, and then you've got your stone on here. Now, does the stone go on in the similar process as the brick?
Exactly the same process. Just a lot slower doing the stone. Okay. It's a lot more labor intensive.
It is. Okay. And then now your windows go in before or after the brick?
Before. As soon as the house is framed, the bricks will go in. The roof goes on.
Okay. Okay, John, I've got one more question for you. Okay, so let's say I buy. You said that house was sold already?
Yes.
I can't have that one.
No.
Okay, so maybe you can build me one here. But anyways, I decide I want to buy this house. I've moved in, but there's still construction going on around me. One of my pet peeves is going to be I'm going to be constantly tracking dirt from the street into my house. Now, you must have heard that before.
Always, yes.
Okay, so not to cut you off, but how long is it going to take before this subdivision or this street is complete?
This street here, like we put the asphalt down here about a month ago. Hopefully next summer or fall, we will put the final coat of asphalt. We will do the sidewalks as we get the houses done. They will actually be doing sidewalks here starting in front of the finished houses in a couple weeks.
In a couple weeks. Okay, so I could be looking basically next spring. So we're about 5 months before when all the houses are done?
No, when the majority are done, though.
Okay, so you wait till the majority of the houses are done before you put the second coat on?
Yes, yes we do. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Stay tuned because when we return, we're going to take a look at one of John's finished products, his model home. You're watching Neighborhoods. I'm Tom Ritchie. Welcome back for break. So as promised, we're at one of the model homes and I'm joined by Jessica Curtis-Blair of Sutton Group Rightway. How are you, Jessica?
Good. How are you, Tom?
I'm very good. So Jessica and I are actually co-workers in a way, I guess. Some people think we work, but we don't. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Jessica works really hard. So Jessica, we're at one of Goodman's model homes here.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about why you chose to represent John Goodman.
Well, I've actually always sent my clients to John even well before I did work for him. His quality is just outstanding. He's been doing this in Woodstock since '91. He's been in the business, in the trades and stuff for years and years and years. The quality is phenomenal. His pricing is always fair. He's on site daily. I always know he's going to be really good with my clients and everybody's always really happy with him. So I know I can hand them over and trust him with my clients and I really appreciate that.
Well, he's definitely on site. I know anytime I want to find him, he's at a build site. So can we take a look inside?
Yes, come on in.
So here we are, as promised, inside the model home. And Jess, this is a beautiful home. What can someone expect? Now, we've talked to John already in studio about the process, picking a lot, but what can they expect? Someone's out doing an open house tour, they decide to come in and check out a Goodman home. What is the process that you're going to put them through inside?
Okay, so basically when someone comes in, we kind of try to explain to them a little bit about the house, let them know that this is just one of the plans. There's so many plans to choose from. Basically, you can move any walls. If there's anything about this plan or any other plans that don't work for you, just change it. It doesn't cost anything to move walls and change stuff. So this specific house is 2,350 square feet. Lots of really nice upgrades and finishes in this house. Because John is custom, you can add in and take out whatever you want. It all depends on how much you want to fancy it up or how simple or modest you want it to be. It's all up to you. So basically, we can kind of take a tour if you like.
Yeah, let's take a tour. So obviously, you're saying you can take anything out, add anything in. This is going to affect the price. For sure. And it's not something that you're necessarily yourself going to quote on site, right?
No, that's right. Usually, if there's things that people want to add in or take out, we just bring John in for an appointment, and they can talk to him, and he's got great suggestions about if somebody decides that they love this house, but they just don't want to spend quite this much money, he'll tell you exactly how to save a little bit of money and still get a beautiful product. Even his house Simplified, any of his houses Simplified, is still above standards that you can expect from a lot of builders. So.
Right. Okay, so let's take a tour. So we're in the kitchen, obviously. And what are we looking at here? These are quartz or granite?
These are quartz countertops. Basically, quartz and granite, they're generally about the same price. It just depends on your preference and what you like to use. You'll find granite is a little more natural looking. With quartz, you're going to get it's a little easier to keep clean, and you won't get any seams because it's made for the space in the kitchen.
Okay, so they are beautiful. Now, appliances, are they normally included in a new home?
No, they're generally not, but there's options. We've got some packages and stuff from Boys Electric, so you have the options to put some appliances in if you would like to.
Now, what about, I know people like to go totally hi-fi and, you know, pimp out their entire crib with TVs and speakers and, you know, the stereos built in. Is that something that John takes care of?
Oh yeah, for sure. They always have people go pretty crazy with some speaker systems and stuff, and you can spend all kinds of money, or you can spend a little bit of money and get some stuff wired in, but that's all up to you. Okay, so let's, this is, what would you call this, the great room or the living room? This is the great room, yes. You've got the great room, the eat-in kitchen. So this is the gas fireplace. This is standard in his houses. Again, you don't have to take it, but it is standard. The hardwood is standard as well. There's tons and tons of choices you can choose from. The sky is the limit. If you decide that you have a big dog and you don't want hardwood, it's simple enough. We can change it to laminate or carpet or whatever you prefer, and then you just get a credit back for that. So. Okay, so lots of options available, and we're looking at, is this a ceramic or a stone? This is a ceramic here. A little bit of detailing on the outside for some trim. Okay, and now obviously that can be switched up. You want to go, you know, Italian marble or something like that, you can do that? Whatever you like, yes. Okay, now I notice a big trend is in the newer homes is the pantries. How big is the pantry in this house? You have to check out this pantry. So this pantry is amazing. It's for Costco shopping. It's got some custom cabinetry in it. Wow. And as you can see, you don't have to worry about any cupboard space or anything in this place. I could store a lot of chips in this pantry. That's probably all I would store in there is chips. All right, so with this ensuite, again, we've got quartz on the countertops. We've done a walk-in tiled shower with a little bit of extra glass tile work. Again, this is a really nice glass shower door, extra long ensuite shower, and a soaker tub. Soaker tubs are nice. Now I notice this isn't a jacuzzi tub. You know, I almost wanted the house, and then I see that there's no jacuzzi tub, but I'm sure you're going to tell me that's an option, right? That is an option, yes. An option. See, I'm learning that everything's an option. You want gold-plated door handles? That's an option. Well, thanks so much for having us, Jessica. I appreciate the tour of the house. Thanks very much for coming through. So let me ask, if anyone wants to get in contact with you or John, how do they go about doing that? You can visit John's website at www.goodmanhomeslimited.net, or he has a Facebook page, facebook.com/goodmanhomeslimited.net. It's a mouthful, I know. It's. You can find it off of his website anyways. There's a link to the Facebook page or the Twitter page as well. Or you can email jcurtis@sutton.com or dsimmons@sutton.com. Perfect. So those are the two sales reps you need to get in contact with. But again, if you are interested in this house or a house similar to that, or you'd like to have a house built for you, a custom built house, you know who to contact. You're watching Neighborhoods with Tom Ritchie. We'll be right back. Would you like to be a guest on Neighborhoods? We're looking for people who have bought, sold, or tried selling their house privately. Feel free to contact us. Thanks for joining us on Neighborhoods today. I'd like to thank my guest, John Goodman of Goodman Homes Limited. Thanks so much, John. And if you have any questions or concerns about this episode, feel free to text me. You can also text me if you have any questions about real estate. Be happy to get some answers or even provide some answers for you. We'll see you next time on Neighborhoods.